You're watching the Live Well, brought to you by Rapala.
Hello. Welcome to the Live Well, presented by Rapala. Tommy Sanders, Ronnie Moore here with you. We are into the final three events of the season. Our northern swing, Ronnie. Hey, we had a big start up at Lake St. Clair. Congratulations, Joey Cifuentes. I think only the second rookie ever in the history of the Elite Series to win two in his initial season. So he's one to watch as we go in. And let's talk about our playing field. 100 miles long, 5 miles wide. My primitive math tells me that's 500 square miles. It is vast. Not the size of Lake Ontario coming up, but it is vast.
Yeah, we saw Lake St. Clair and the playing field that we had there, 420, 430 plus square miles just for that body of water. We've got something very similar, just lays out much different at Lake Champlain. One of the places that can be really impacted by wind, though. One of the roughest boat rides I've ever had trying to traverse that body of water was at Lake Champlain. It can get rough there at times. And one thing that we're really keeping an eye on, Tommy, the last few years it's been smallmouth dominated. Smallmouth heavy for the winners. You can maybe have a mixed bag and compete, especially in multi-day tournaments, but one-day tournaments, it's been smallmouth. One factor, though, the water is 3 feet high approximately as we're about a week or so out from the Lake Champlain event. A little bit higher water than normal means largemouth could factor. We could maybe see some Ticonderoga runs. We could see some Missisquoi guys fishing for largemouth. All of those bays and marinas that also occupy those green fish, they may show up again and we can see some mixed bags. But that is another kind of, I guess, wrench thrown into Lake Champlain, which is ever so tight.
As we get later in the season, we are a month later than the last time it was contested there in 2021. But what's the state of these smallmouth? Are they soon enough post-spawn that they're still a little bit smaller than they might be earlier in the year?
I think that these fish have definitely had enough time to recover. You know, there could be a given week or so where it only takes 20 pounds to win and 15 pounds gets you in the top 10. But at Lake Champlain, most times, you're going to have 15 just to be in the bottom quarter of the field. I'd expect these fish to be pretty healthy, whether you're catching them, you know, in those shallow bays, on those, you know, those buoys, those different rock areas, or if you're actually fishing way deeper, like we've seen Taku Ito, Brandon Palaniuk, guys like that fishing. Bryan Schmitt, one of the times we were there, I think the most recent time we were there, kind of played it both sides. He had some largemouth shallow a little bit, had smallmouth as well.
Needed a couple of good smallmouth to clinch that win, right?
Yes, he did indeed. And I think that that's one thing that we'll see. A guy like Seth Feider, who has gotten a top 5 there every time.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, Seth, what is it? All smallmouth, all largemouth, or a mixed bag? And he said, I really don't know what I'm going to do there this year. But he did say the way these smallmouth have grown up, Tommy, you can almost spend the same amount of time fishing for a 5-pound smallmouth and catch it quicker than you would a 5-pound largemouth. Just going largemouth fishing for an hour may not be enough time. You may have to spend more time doing that.
Everyone who joins us for our live coverage is going to be satisfied, no matter
100%.
What kind of fishing they like. You know, if they like to go frogging in the weeds, there's going to be plenty of that. There's going to be people dropping it down deep. It's a great setup.
Yeah, I think you're going to see guys throwing a Terminator frog for sure, at least some point. Maybe not on live all times. We're going to have some smallmouth heavy guys for sure. But there will be a largemouth guy representing for, I guess, the people down south who, and maybe even the northern New York guys who love largemouth fishing. We should see that, you know, a Terminator frog, like you said. We should see the swim jigs, possibly punching as well, flipping some of the taller grass that grows up like we've seen Seth Feider do in years past. I think that that's one thing you could do for largemouth, maybe even walking topwaters if it's in cleaner areas. But then for smallmouth, you could see those Ned rigs, those drop shots, obviously. We've seen a spy bait in the past, a spin bait pop up and factor as well. There's all kinds of things. Plus, Keith Combs, David Mullins, I think Kobe Krieger as well have had success with topwaters and smallmouth and also cranking for smallmouth. So it's kind of wide open at Champlain. Pick your poison. Yeah. Don't get behind the 8 ball, though.
It's going to be a blast. And you talk about people from the south. We got 2 of them at the top of a very juicy AOY race as it stands right now, separated by a single point.
Yeah, Brandon Cobb retaking the AOY lead after Lake St. Clair by 1 point over Kyle Welcher. And you said 2 Southerners. The whole top 10's almost Southerners.
Yeah.
3rd place, Tyler Reved, John Cox in 4th, and Drew Cook in 5th. All Southerners, all within 40 points or so from the lead. And then even 6th, 7th, and 8th, you have Joey Cifuentes, 2-time winner this year and Rookie of the Year leader.
And winner last time at St. Clair, importantly.
And someone to keep an eye on for New York. I've saved him for my fantasy team for the New York Swing because he has done so well here in the past. So think about Joey in 6th place, 50-something points back. Jay Shakurit, our winner from St. Lawrence last year, in that same 50 points or so. And then Patrick Walters, fresh off a great smallmouth event at St. Clair and other tournaments. Walters is one that's primed. And then I can't keep adding names to it, Tommy, but 9th place, Bryan Schmitt, one of the champions at Champlain. We'll keep an eye on that. Maybe we could have the most anglers ever fighting for AOY going into the last event of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. All eyes will be on Bryan Schmitt. I mean, he's got that win there. He started his season great, second place, just barely lost the Classic, as a matter of fact, and finished 5th last week at St. Clair. He's got a little something going.
Some mojo. And when you get Bryan Schmitt rolling with some consistent good mojo, normally he's an up and down angler. When he's up and he keeps it up for a while, he's one that you'll keep an eye on for maybe sneaking in and stealing that AOY trophy.
The Dakota Lithium Bassmaster Elite, August 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th, right here on Bassmaster.com. Thank you for watching the Live Well.